Inside some of the politics here, we turn to strategists on each side of the health care fight. Republican Ron Bonjean worked as communications director for former House Speaker Dennis Hastert and served as chief of staff for the Senate Republican Conference. And Brad Woodhouse, former communications director for the Democratic National Committee. He's now president of the Democratic group Americans United for Change, which has been backing the president on health care. Thank you both for being here. So, Brad Woodhouse, to you first. Why is this regrouping on the part of the White House necessary?
Well, look, I think it's necessary because what we've seen, this has been a tough 8 weeks. The rollout of healthcare.gov couldn't have gone worse for the White House or for Democrats or, frankly, for the people who want to access health care. But look, there's a front-facing, aggressive period here where we're going to try to get people signed up. And first 2 days, looks like the healthcare website is working. So we'll see what Republicans complain about next.
So, Ron Bonjean, if the White House is able to do what they say they are, they're going to get the website working, if they can address some of these other problems, why won't they be able to undo some of the damage that's been done to the president?
This is what the president's really worried about. He's putting a firewall around Obamacare right now because Democrats are running away from it in droves, and he's trying a last stand to put the best face of Obamacare, best face of the branding around Obamacare that he can, because next year's an election year, and it's so critical, and millions of Americans are losing their health insurance this January 1st, and they need to get signed up into Obamacare quickly.
But if they get a lot of people, if they get millions of Americans signed up, the website's working better, can't they undo that first impression?
See, what's really interesting is that Republicans we all know that the website's going to get fixed. I mean, it's technology. Eventually it's going to happen. But what we're talking about now is we're talking about the access and affordability of Obamacare. People's premiums are likely to go up. People's deductibles are going to go up. The access around to getting to their doctor is going to be troublesome. And I think that's what you're going to see, along with the security and lack thereof of the exchanges.
So, Brad Woodhouse, I mean, you hear what he's saying, and that it's even if the website is fixed and working very well, it's the other parts of this law that are going to create problems.
Well, look, Judy, these are just scare tactics. Remember, you're talking to the same people who said that there were going to be death panels as part of this law. First of all, let me say this. Democrats are not running away from this law. All the political committees on the Democratic side today and the White House announced aggressive and offensive efforts to promote this law and to hold Republicans accountable, frankly, Judy, for sabotage. I mean, we have Republican governors throughout this country who've been given a gift. They can expand Medicaid to take care of people who are just right above the poverty line and can't afford health care. They're refusing to do it. So we're going to hold them accountable. We're not afraid of the politics of this. Ron's right. The website is fixed. People are going to get signed up, and people are going to like it.
So how are Republicans going to respond to that if Democrats come back and say, hey, it's working, there are people who are being helped by it?
Well, it's frankly, the people are speaking for themselves. I mean, people are getting dropped from the plans, they're having problems getting access to it, or they're going to be paying more. But Republicans are doing right now, this week, is holding oversight hearings, at least 5 in the House, over everything from should the government be running your health care to the quality of what's going to happen to small businesses with health care. They're going the gamut. The RNC is going to be putting out a major digital push in the next 24 hours to talk about the problems with Obamacare. So there's no question about it. I think the product does not sell itself. I mean, President Obama, to have an anecdote, sold us a lamp, and instead now they're saying, well, look at this great paperweight.
Brad.
Here's the issue, Judy, is that Republicans, still 100 years into this debate, still haven't offered their plan. Speaker Boehner today just kind of was flippantly like, yeah, we'll see if we offer our own plan. Look, Obamacare has had problems in the rollout, but what Obamacare offers for the American people is far superior to going back to the type of discrimination that insurance companies participated in before, the gender discrimination, paying more for health care coverage just because you're a woman. So, they can argue for the status quo ante. We'll argue for the success of Obamacare. And look, things will play out next year.
Ron Bonjean, is it enough for Republicans to criticize, which they clearly are doing, or do they need to come up with an alternative of their own?
Well, absolutely. Republicans were shut out of the process of developing Obamacare.
Not true.
And they need to talk about the law. They need to talk about the problems of the law, because that's what it is. But yes, they need to talk more about the answer to Obamacare. What do they have to sell? And there's plenty. They believe in market moving solutions. They believe in, health and having small businesses pool their insurance costs to have them lower. They believe in going for allowing for people to buy their insurance across state lines. They believe in expanded health care savings accounts. They believe that people who have pre-existing conditions should keep their health insurance if they're making continuous payments. There's all kinds of things that they can talk about, and there will be a time for that, definitely.
Well, Judy, that plan leaves millions and millions of people uncovered. It doesn't deal with people who can't get health insurance because of a pre-existing condition. And that plan was shown, I think, during the Romney campaign to cover 1 or 2 million additional people in this.
But the fact of the matter is you're leaving millions of people off health insurance now and raising their premiums, Brad.
That's not true. Premiums are down. The cost of health care, inflation is down, its lowest point in 40 years. The cost of this law, the New York Times reported, Judy, is lower than it was estimated. So there's a lot of good about Obamacare, and we're proud of it.
Brad, let me ask you one final question. Yeah. We know that a lot of Democrats, a number of Democrats, have been really nervous about the rollout of this, the content of the health care law. To what extent has the president been able to calm those fears on the part of people who are running for re-election next year?
Well, I think the president has done what he could do and what he can do. He's reflected the frustration with the website, but all this comes down to getting that website fixed and making sure people who got those cancellation notices can go on the website and get signed up for new and better and lower cost plans. And there's going to be a sprint here in the next 3 weeks to make sure that this first cohort of people can do that before January the 1st.
And Ron Bonjean, now that the White House, the Democrats are clearly focused on fighting back on this, does it make it harder for Republicans to make the case you're trying to make?
Well, I think it's really going to be up to the Senate, the Democrats, especially those who are vulnerable in red states, to make the decision. The question is, if their blood pressure is still up and they're signing on the legislation that delays Obamacare for at least a year, then they're still going to have problems. If this bill smooths out and their blood pressure goes down, the White House is not going to have as many problems. I think it's going to be up to the Democrats to see what happens next.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Ron Bonjean, we thank you. Brad Woodhouse.
Thank you.